it's always great to have a weekend, right? My son today was like, because Friday they have like a short day. And so my son Parker, I was like, dude, it's Friday. And he's like, yeah, I know, it's a short day. And like, I don't know if he was just sad about not like going to school as long or whatever, but it's always great to have Friday. Friday's just a good day, right? So just real quick, I wanted to jump on here to talk about some of the takeaways from last night. So last night I hosted this Start With Why room. So what I've been doing is every Thursday night, I have what I'm calling Impact Summit. So basically getting together some amazing entrepreneurs, amazing speakers that really want to change the world and make an impact. And so it was super fun to have all of the amazing people that we had on. And shout out to each of them. And it was really fun to see people come in and just get the value out of that room as far as like understanding your why. And so that's what we talked about last night. So start with why. Really what that comes from, the phrase, is from a book by Simon Sinek. So Simon Sinek wrote this book, and he has all these credentials and all that type of stuff. And so, anyways, but it's really, I actually have read the book, but my brother Cody was telling me about it recently, and so got me looking into it. And I went and watched one of his TEDx talks to really understand like what the whole concept is. And really briefly, I'll kind of explain that and then talk about my 3 takeaways. And so there's an awesome YouTube video where he talks about this concept, right? So what he does is he draws 3 different circles. And so in the beginning, there's this inner circle of why, and then a bigger circle outside of that, that's what, and then even outside of that is how. So sorry, it's why, how, and then what. And so he goes through and talks about how companies that focus on just like the what, that they don't necessarily last. They don't necessarily, are as successful as those that really understand their why and to follow that, right? And so there's like understanding why you do something is super important, and this really can apply to anything. It can be business, it can be personal, but it can be a really powerful concept. And so I'll just go through those top 3 takeaways, and let me know if you have questions or anything like that. Would love to hear it. If you're on Clubhouse, make sure to connect, because every Thursday night, 8 p.m., we're doing this. 8 p.m. Mountain Time, we're going to be doing this type of summit, this idea of getting these awesome speakers together. So it's going to be a ton of fun. Love to see you there. And if you want to speak too, just let me know too, because I'm always looking for awesome speakers to go up there. And even if you don't feel like you have like, oh, I'm not a speaker, right? But like we had, some people on there that like, they don't feel like they're like a speaker, but they still provide a lot of value, right? It's awesome. So let me know. And so here's the thing, like the top 3 takeaways. So why is a great motivator. So we talked about that last night, about how, just really quickly, something that I shared was about a quote from Grant Cardone, that if your current problems seem really big, then your goals aren't big enough, right? And really that I feel like relates to your why, because if you think about, okay, well, why am I doing this thing? Maybe it's losing weight, maybe it's building a business, maybe it's doing doing a nonprofit, whatever it could be. But like, what are you doing and why are you doing that? Because if you really get down and understand why, then when it gets hard, why. Like if there's people that you need to show up for, why am I doing this, right? And so that's how your why can be a huge motivator. It can be the thing to pick you up when you feel like you've been knocked down. Like, okay, remember, I'm doing this because of this. And especially when your why is about other people, then that's really, really powerful, because our brains, they're wired to avoid pain, right? They don't want to have pain. They kind of want things to stay the same. And so when you go out and you try something hard, right? Maybe it's to help other people and you're doing this, that can be uncomfortable for your brain, right? The first time I went on Clubhouse and got on stage and was asking a question, I was like so nervous, and I was all like the butterflies and like rushed what I was saying and all that type of stuff, because it was a new thing. But as I've gone and done that more, it feels a little bit better. Now I still have some of those moments too, but having that why is really, really powerful. And so that's something that the biggest takeaway, or I guess the number 1 takeaway that I have on here, not necessarily the most important, but is that why is a great motivator. So the number 2, why inspires action. So real quick, I want you to think back to Dr. Martin Luther King, and Simon Sinek talks a little bit about him. And in when Dr. King made the famous speech, right? What did he say? Did he say, I have a plan? No, he didn't. He said, I have a dream, right? It wasn't so much about this is the plan, this is the thing that we're going to do, but I have a dream of this future state. I have this dream of what we're doing and why we're doing this, right? We're doing this because of this. We want equality, we want these things. 25% of the people that were actually at that speech were white. So it wasn't just for blacks, like it was for everybody. It was his people came, and the reason they came is because they believed in the message. They believed in the dream, right? In the why. It wasn't so much for him, right? They didn't show up for him to support him. Oh, he's a great guy. I'm just going to go do that, right? They came because of the dream, because of the thing that he was pushing. And so it inspired them to come. And think about this too. When this happened, were there websites that you could go follow up with? Were there notifications? Hey, you got to make sure you go here. Like, no, people showed up in droves. Like, so many people came to do that. And so he inspired that action, right? And that's how your why can do that, is your why. When you have a deep enough why, and it's more about the dream. It's more about the future and the thing about where you're all going, then that can be really, really powerful. And then the last takeaway is that a strong why makes the best businesses. One of the things that Simon Sinek says is, he says, people don't buy what you do, but they buy why you do it. And in his book and in his presentation, he goes through and talks about Apple, right? He talks about how most people, they start with their what and their how. So they say, hey, like in Apple's case, hey, we build great computers, and how we do it is we do it in a very simple and elegant way, right? That's not very inspiring. It's not something that you're like, okay, like, but isn't that pretty much what everyone else does, right? Like that's you're saying kind of on the same level as other companies. But he talks about how Apple, they talk about challenging the status quo in everything that they do, and how they do that is by the simple and elegant way that they create computers, and they happen to make computers, right? And if you think about it, when you have a strong enough why, it's really trying to find the people that believe what you believe, right? They believe what you believe, not that they need what you do, right? They actually believe what you believe as well. And so when they believe that same thing, then they're there for life. They're loyal. They're going to be there, because you think about it through Apple. Yes, it's a computer company, but do we even think of it as a computer company anymore? Like, phones, like that's probably the number one thing that you'd think of. But because people had already bought into that why, now we're buying phones, we're buying, iPods, we're buying various things from a computer company, right? But how come that doesn't work for Dell and for some other companies? And even think about Microsoft. Like with Microsoft, they tried the Windows Phone, they tried doing that, and it didn't really pan out. Part of that might be the market timing and things like that and how they did it. But again, like I think that people are a little bit more bought it. Like if you're an Apple fan, then you're an Apple fan, right? And if you're not, then you're not, which is fine. With Microsoft, it's not as much of that like black and white, right? Like, oh, I'm just a huge Microsoft fan, right? There's a little bit less. At least that's what I see as an Apple fan. So, anyways, that's just what. But really, just thinking about your why is really, really important. So, if it's your business, if it's the thing that you're doing, that is going to make a huge difference. And I know that Russell Brunson's talked about this too, and he's talked about how when he finally shifted to change his marketing to be more about a mission than about, oh hey, go buy this thing, right? When it's more like about you, and it's more about, hey, where we're going and why we're doing this, and that's really when it becomes fun. It becomes something that you're able to really change the world, and to really help people and get these people behind you that like, yes, I believe it. And so anyways, those are the top 3 takeaways. So real quickly again, why is a great motivator, why inspires action, and then why makes the strongest businesses. And so I hope you found value out of that. It was super fun to be able to have that amazing discussion last night. If you're on Clubhouse again, definitely let's connect, because I'd love to see you there Thursdays at 8 p.m. And if you watch this entire video, let me know if you like this, and I'm happy to kind of go through the takeaways afterwards, because I think that I could see that being valuable. But if not, I don't really care. So anyways, I hope you are doing amazing, and I just want to to tell you that you can go and make an impact in the world. I know that you can, and to me, that's something that really motivates me. It's always kind of been that thing that I have wanted to do, is to really make an impact. And that's why I'm excited to put together these weekly rooms on on making an impact and really trying to help people focus on that. Because and really, I guess, just find the people that really want to do that. Because if you're motivated by money, I think that's fine. And again, I'll be talking about, like, actually this next week, we're going to be talking about income versus impact, and which one's more important. And one of the things that I love to help people with is helping them see that, yes, I know that you're driven by impact, but how income will also help you in your cause, and it will help you doing this. And so there's a specific way that you can structure things so that you can do both, right? Because I think sometimes people feel like, oh, well, I can either do impact or I can make money. Like, I really feel like that you can do both. And so that's what it's going to be fun to be able to talk about that next week. But it's just a really powerful concept, because then, if you think about the income that you bring in, allows you to then go and impact more people as well. And so that's why I love helping that type of entrepreneur and that type of business owner, is because it's not like, hey, we're just going to go sell this cool thing and make money. Like, no, it's like, we're going to go and impact the world, and yes, we're going to make money so that we can continue to impact people. When people pay, they actually pay attention. So having them enroll in your course and your business and whatever you're doing is really powerful, and allows them to really to actually change, right? Like, that's actually what happens, because they trade those dollars. And so it's going to be fun. So anyways, thanks so much for tuning in. Let me know again if you like this. I can keep doing them. But I appreciate all that you do. Appreciate you supporting me. So anyways, make sure you go make an impact today. All right. See you later.